This is literally just Miku. No, like, tell me you don't see it. There is absolutely no difference between the two. Okay, fine. This is Faruzan from hit game Genshin Impact. Made from the game company whose name is inspired by none other than Hatsune Miku. Okay, this is literally just Miku. She's already a global sensation in the world we all live in, but what happens when she gets thrown into a whole new one? Will she succumb to the terrors of Teyvat, or will she overcome it and finally say, the world is mine? Join us as we try not to get copyright striked, try to beat Genshin Impact with Hatsune Miku. Now, here are the rules for the challenge. I can only use Faruzan. All weapons and banners are allowed, no food in combat, no co-op, and no cheating. Also, this video is being released on March the 9th in Japanese time, which is Miku Day. Happy Miku Day, everyone! By the way, if anyone manages to guess my favorite Vocaloid song in the comments below, there is another Woken up for grabs this video. As a little hint, it is mentioned in the video somewhere, so without further ado, let's just get right into it. We first start off by pulling this absolute diva, and then make our way over to Amber's domain. We perform the skip really early this time, which gives us a good head start going into Kaya's domain. He is a bit short, so we just miss this jump a couple of times, but we edge it out the next time and successfully jump over the spikes. Next up is Lisa's domain here, and since we're a bow user, we actually managed to hit the crystal from range, but the damage got reduced, so we didn't break it. So there we go, Act 1 complete. So after farming a bit and missing a few autos, Faruzan. It was straight into Act 2. First up was the Eye of the Storm, and this guy is immune to Anemo, so we just normal attack it with our bow. Hey, there's actual wolves. What the f***, there's wolves in Wolvendom? Keep in mind that I actually recorded this before Beto and Columbina during Durin's banner in Luna 3. Oh my gosh, we can actually unlock Cecilia Garden, by the way. I love it. Zamenhof time, and this guy goes invisible right off the bat. With other characters, we can mark this guy by afflicting them with an element, but Anemo works differently and doesn't really stick on enemies. It makes it a lot harder to tell where the agent is, but it still leaves a little smoke trail, so we can just swirl pyro on it when it comes close enough to one of its clones. Our enhanced charge attack actually interrupts the guy a lot, so we can just keep stunning him and we finish the fight without getting damaged once. And just before getting hit too. The Ruin Guard is pretty easy as well because we can just attack its weak spot and stun it like 80% of the fight. And even when it can't be stunned, we can still hit its weak spot for extra damage. Last on the list is the Pyromage who wet itself, and that's Act 2 complete. By the way, the devs changed how early game story quests block each other for some reason, and Xiangling's quest now blocks Amber's quest. This never used to be the case, and you could do an entire run without even touching her quest, which is what I used to do, but now you're forced into spending a bit more than 5 minutes in Xiangling's quest, as you have to complete it up to the part where she travels to Liyue, otherwise it will block Razor's quest in the future. But anyways, it is now time for Act 3. First up is the Hydro Mage, and we can just break its shield with our skill and charged attacks. But let's fast forward to this fight with this big old salamander. We actually break his shield really slow compared to the last couple of runs with Beto and Columbina. Faruzan doesn't really have any big attacks that break the shield fast. Not only that, but we kinda just do no damage. We're still level 20 because Sumeru is way too far away and we don't have the free waypoints unlocked yet. We can't even unlock the Favonius bow yet because we have to defeat Dvalin first. We're on a 3-star bow right now. But the fight itself wasn't hard, it just took a bit longer than usual. We have to 3-face Dvalin to take him down. So we go ahead and equip our new bow, get the luckiest goblet pull from the church, Anemo damage bonus, and Mondstadt is now complete in what the hell was my end card? Okay, I don't know what happened here, but we're just gonna go with the time where the end card should be. Faruzan finishes Mondstadt with a time of 3 hours, 25 minutes, and 36 seconds. She is a bit slow compared to my other runs, coming in 7th out of 11th place, just behind Skirk, but we're only at the start of the run, so literally anything can happen. But before we continue, let's go ahead and dissect this girl up. Faruzan is an Anemo bow user, and usually she's a support used in Anemo teams to buff Anemo carries and also decrease enemy Anemo resistance. But this time we're using her as an on-fielder. Her overall kit isn't super flashy or anything because of this, but I still think it has its merits. Faruzan's normal attacks aren't anything special, so let's just skip over that, but because she's a bow user, she's able to charge up her shots to do Anemo damage. One of the most fun parts about Faruzan is actually just her being a bow character. There's a lot of enemies, especially in the early game, that have weak spots, and hitting them just feels so good. I seldom use bow characters myself, so I'm not used to this type of combat a lot of the time, but wow, do I have some love words for this. Maybe even 2, 3, 4, or 5. But the thing is, the shooting experience is further enhanced by her skill. Her skill just does a bit of anemo damage right in front of her, but what comes after makes me Viva happy. Her next charge shot gets enhanced after her skill is used, which makes it create a vortex that pulls enemies in towards it. This actually feels so good to use, but her first ascension talent makes it even better. We're still level 20 as of now, but luckily for us, there's a few of her local specialty right next to the Fontaine waypoint. Now we're level 40, which unlocks our first ascension talent, Impetuous Flow. This makes it so there's a lot less time to charge our enhanced shot, and it also now decreases anemo resistance as well, so that's pretty neat. She actually gets this resistance decrease from her burst. It basically does one big damage burst, and then reduces anemo resistance along this triangular path. It looks like it shoots out stuff, but don't get fooled, it doesn't do any additional damage, just reduces resistance. It actually also gives us an anemo damage bonus, so even if we don't have our enhanced shot, it's still pretty worth to keep on attacking with charged attacks. But that's kinda it. Her exploration talent just gives us more rewards on expeditions. Unfortunately, I did wait until after her banner ended because I was a bit busy during the Durin patch, so I can say that I didn't get any additional constellations on her. Her C1 would have been a real game changer, especially for a solo run, as we get an additional vortex shot, and I still feel a bit bitter about that, but oh well. Her kit is pretty simple overall, but still a lot of fun. So why don't we showcase this fun in Liyue Act 1 with the Millilith fight, where we hit a good starting damage of 2292. Look at how fun this charge attack is. Do you not see the appeal? We have decreased cooldowns here as well, like I literally feel like a god-ish. Cloud Retainer is up next, but we perform the skip, and next up is... yeah, how fun. Last up is the Ruin Hunter, who we meet by following this Shoujo Ray, and unlike the Ruin Guard, it only shows its weak spot when it flies up, so we just charge shot it down, and that's Act 1 out of the way. What are you cooking there, Faruzan? I hope it's not vegetable juice. Faruzan, being an anemo character, is actually amazing at cooking the pot. We can swirl the pyro flowers underneath to heat it up. Also, usually the heat bar stops at quarter points along the checkpoints, but for some reason, Faruzan cooks at a very weird speed or something. Like, this final swirl literally pushed it just a smidge further. Madame Pink's teapot is next, and we make the Geoslime chase us off the map. It actually threw a rock at us on the way down, like put that shit in slow motion. The slime was pity as. Last up with the treasure hoarders, but we just headshot them down, and that's Act 2 also done. By the way, I think I should mention that Faruzan has a line whenever you open a chest that goes like this.
Here you go. Thank you, Madame Faruzan.
I have been saying, thank you, Madame Faruzan, every single time she said this line since the very start of the game.
Thank you, Madame Faruzan.
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 Thank you, Madame Faruzan. Just thought I should mention that I was not crazy or anything, okay? Trust me, I'm not crazy, right? 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 And while we need to farm up to AR28, we also need to farm some materials for Faruzan. I'll start with her local specialty. Faruzan uses henna berries, which are found in the desert region of Sumeru. There's no easy way to get there, so I teleported to the Fontaine waypoint to collect the first few over there, and then got baited because I walked through 2 whole sub-regions when I could have just teleported to this Natlan waypoint right next to it. I honestly forgot the Natlan waypoint was there, so my bad. But the berries themselves are so annoying to farm. They're scattered everywhere in the massive desert, and there's like maximum 2 per plant, so you have to walk everywhere on your first collection. Some of them are even locked behind puzzles we can't even complete, so you can't even get all of them. The other annoying thing is because of the elevation of all the hills in the desert, you can't tell where some of them are. Some of them are actually under a cliff that you can only see by falling off that cliff. Her boss, actually we don't need to fight it right now. We chose Dea from our free character selector, and since Dea and Faruzan both use the same boss drops, We can level up to 60 without fighting the boss a single time. I'll talk about it a bit later though, so you don't get an extended explanation right now. So now it is time to ascend and farm a little bit more until we hit AR 28 and start Act 3. We can actually activate the windmill this time, and in the middle of the fight, we accidentally swirled pyro onto the enemies here because of the torch inside the hut. The pyro gunner also got the short end of the stick.
It's time to sing whenever you're ready.
The Whopper Flower shields are kinda annoying, but it only takes about 4 shots of ammo to get rid of them. And now, give it up for Ed Sheeran! Okay, real talk, I don't know like any similarities between the two apart from both of them having like Pokemon songs. So I don't know, this guy is just tackling us. Anyways, we just attack this guy at range in all of the phases and just finish him off with a regular attack. I'm sorry, Mr. Sheeran, I don't like your Pokemon song.
Entire man in the Quajon Ballista. Do not let the Fatui disturb their work.
What? And that's Liyue done in 9 hours, 45 minutes, and 26 seconds. We're now in 6th, but still behind Skirk, and I blame the berry collection. Bloody mental chainsaw of a fruit. But like always, we're hiding the leaderboard until the end of the challenge, so that our standings will be unknown. What the goose. Okay, that was a terrible one. But now it is time for Dainsleaf. Hello, fine gentlemen. Do you happen to know Piero? We start off with a few Abyss Mages, but I'm gonna be so real with you, this is probably the best character I've done when it comes to mages, especially when there's multiple of them and multiple different types, because Animo breaks them all at a similar rate and Swirl just destroys all of them crazy fast if they react with each other. These shields suck ass though, but this fight gives us a whole new shield to deal with. Heralds and Lictors do have their weak spots like other humanoid enemies, but I'm pretty sure that after it puts its shield up, it doesn't matter where you hit. The fastest way for us to destroy it is with charge attacks, and we did get a bit low because we were very cocky this fight, but luckily it doesn't do that much damage yet.
Let's go, and remember to be on your guard.
Dane was done. Hello, where did my thing go? Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened to our vortex thing. Sometimes when we fire off an enhanced shot, it just disappears. Like maybe it's because the enemy dies, but it still should go off technically. Anyways, this is a bug. Oyo, do you see this? We're expecting 300 compensation primers because it's now unplayable for the 3 Wonder Remains. Hashtag Japan is turning footsteps into electricity. And our first fight is the transport balloon. Now you may have noticed that I'm only really making Miku references because, well, we're playing as her. The obvious reference here would have been Sharudu, but for the sake of the bit, we're not going to use it. It is Miku only, after all. Anyways, we swirl up these guys good because there's water everywhere. Oh, I've already done that one.
Dare to mess with me?
I need to train harder.
Yeah, I really don't know how both of them ended up getting stuck. And that is Act 1 complete. Holy moly, we can actually do this. I'm gonna say it again, I really enjoy aiming charge shots at humanoid enemies. It just feels so incredibly rewarding and satisfying. Like, watch this and tell me otherwise. Anyways, Act 3 begins with the Electro Monuments, and this is actually the very first thing that we can't do without another character. The big dude fight is fine though, we just play at range and it can't even touch us. So welcome back to your favorite section. Just what is my delusional take this time? Every single time we reach the Delusion Factory, I have a hot take that I just have to put out there, and you get to decide if you agree or if my take is just delusional. Okay, I'm keeping my take this time in the Vocaloid sphere. Okay, I know that's not the right term, but I don't know what the umbrella term for everything is. I'm just gonna call it that. I feel like a lot of the Vocaloid songs within the last couple of years just haven't really clicked with me that much. Like, a lot of the newer, more popular ones have a certain kind of tone to them that I just don't like as much. I don't know how to really describe it. The first thing I think of is a lot of them trying to replicate Mesmerizer, which I do enjoy a lot, but I can't really call it that. I can't put blame on it. I'm sure it's not the root cause. I still do enjoy and listen to them often, but I often find myself listening to other not so new songs a bit more. I don't know, maybe I'm just an unfriendly hater.
Await my emergence and tremble, traveler.
Ouch,
You
stop
have
it.
reason to be afraid.
What the f?
The pale flame smolders.
Oh my, you can't be serious, right? I swear she doesn't normally shoot that much, what the hell? This time, we made it to the second phase, and even though we're a ranged character, we want to be as close to Senora as possible because her melee attacks are just so much easier to dodge. We were doing so well until this ranged attack made us lose all of our health and also left stains on the floor because Faruzan couldn't target the dumb f***ing Hydro thingamabomb.
Who dares? Oh me. Oh wait.
It's fine though, because we did get her on round 3. Thanks to the buffs in this fight, we did do a buffed high of 11,784, saved the people from eternity, and completed Inazuma with a time of 16 hours, 7 minutes, and 46 seconds. Get it? Because it's a hole? First fight here is the Hydro Herald, and this guy got stuck here for a while, so we basically got to hit him for free. But the next fight was the Electrolector. Yeah, no, this fight was even easier because its projectiles are just easy to dodge, and we don't even need to get into melee range. The rest of this quest is just Abyss Mages, but I wouldn't even say this is the main problem. These things were. Yeah. Oh my god! But that is the end of the chasm. So there's a bit more farming to do, and now we're gonna talk about her boss. Faruzan uses drops from Asimon, and as you can see in our very first fight ever against it, I didn't quite understand it at first, so I'll fast forward to just a bit later to give you all a better rundown. The boss will do one big attack and then summon some mini bots. These ones spawn when you're in melee range and follow you for a bit. You only need to break one of them to put the boss in the recovery state. Now normally you'd need to trigger the catalyze reaction on the boss, but because we're only an Anemo unit, we can't do this. There is no way for us to down the boss, so we've just got to wait a while for it to reappear and lower its resistances. You can still hit the boss even though it's invisible, and you can tell by its positions on the lines on the ground and also the resistance thread that we apply on our enhanced shot. It repeats this rotation a couple of times, and at the start of the third one, it interrupts itself and moves to the center where it charges up a big shockwave and then paralyzes itself. But we can just dash through it and get some extra damage while it's down. Honestly, it's a very easy fight. Asimon even has a weak spot which I didn't even figure out until later, so we're extra strong against it. But enough dilly-dallying. It is time for her home nation. First up is this parasite of an enemy. We can just charge attack each of the roses, and I did notice something here. Usually when you get close enough to each of the roses, a fungi spawns to accompany them, but when we hit them at range, they just don't show up at all. So instead of defeating 5 enemies here, there's only 3.
About that.
Wait, I wanna see what this guy does.
Try to keep up.
Try to keep, yeah. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Come on, give me 8 notes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes! Let's go! Ow! Hit my f***ing mic. This is the most exercise I've gotten in a year. I bought this game in Japan. I haven't played it since. (2024 July). Act 3 gives us Rift Hounds, but these guys get staggered really easily. And Act 4 gives us the Elazar Hospital, where we get the Liyue stuck and cheese the cheese out of it. The monuments are just so much easier to clear this time because we're a bow character. We don't have to go all the way over to them, we can just shoot them down from range. We did run out of time for the last one though, so we just went back to do it again. The temple just has a bunch of fungi. The dendro ones fly up in the air and can be annoying for characters like Beidou, but we can just shoot them down midair and drop them down to the floor. Act 4 is done. The Fatui here are very weak without their shields, they get vortexed by our attacks, and they also have weak spots. They still just take a long time to beat though. The factory has a lot more Fatui, but we managed to reset a few if they put their shields up early. We can actually break the turrets in the Scara fight, so we do knock them down, and they do a new unbuffed damage high of 11.9k. I think the damage would have been higher if I did my charge attack first, but oh well. Onto the boat of consciousness where we got stuck on a branch and died. That's it! I'm gonna get ya. And there we go. Sumeru done in 24 hours, 21 minutes, and 4 seconds. Before we do continue on, we're just making a quick stop to Faruzan's talent domain. It's not too bad here, there's just 2 of these guys and a Ruined Drake. All of them do have weak points that can stun them, it's like this domain was just made for us. Now, I'm not going to stay here too long, it's really only the Cryo Hero that we have to worry about. Like some of the other enemies, fighting this guy in melee range is just a bit better because we don't have to deal with its annoying ranged attacks. With Carry Bear out of the way, is this good? It was now time to head over to the Ascension domain and get boosted right up to AR40 so that we could start Fontaine.
Excuse me? Are you ready? Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Hatsune Miku does not talk to many people.
The flowers require the Hydro Cannon because there's no Hydro close enough to swirl. Yes, this water is not close enough. Act 2 has the mechs, and they do have a bit more interruption resistance than our previous enemies, so it is a bit harder. The dogs are a bit easier to pull, but the humanoid mechas are kinda bulky. But Act 5 is where the fun is at because here we have the Torture Chamber. Alright, the game plan here is to keep the Ruin Guard knocked out for as long as possible so that we only have to watch out for 2 enemies instead of 3. Whenever its eye is up, we're shooting that thing straight down. Whenever the Hydro Trail throws up its slime, swirl it so that it applies Hydro everywhere for extra damage, and whenever the Anemo Trail flies up, burst its slime. This is literally the one domain where bow characters excel, and Faruzan does not disappoint. We take out the Ruin Guard while it's down, then focus the Hydro Trail because the other one has Anemo resistance, and once they're both down, it's just a 1v1 against this guy who we can basically stagger forever. So we actually beat this room first try without even dying once. Yeah, like always, the whale fight is kinda like a nothing burger, so Fontaine is complete in 32 hours, 43 minutes, and 35 seconds. Look at how fast we break these cryo shields, by the way. This Herald was basically the same fight, so let's just skip ahead to Natlan. That counts, right? Faruzan isn't too bad at breaking abyssal shields. She does take a while to charge up her Anemo shots, but it's still faster than some characters. The name fragment fight is ridiculously easy because we can play from range. A lot of the time with the melee characters I play, this fight is very stressful because the Yomkasaurs attack way too fast, but they don't have any good ranged attacks, so we didn't even take any damage. This one is a bit harder though because the Tapetlisaurs actually launched themselves straight at you, but it wasn't too bad.
The puzzle.
Please, please, you mother. Act 3 has the Fatui fight, and the good thing here is that the Hydro Gunner shield is weak to Electro, so we can swirl the Electro Hammer's Electro onto the Hydro Gunner shield to trigger the Electro Charged reaction and take him down a lot faster. Yeah, we got rolled. But the second time we played so much better, so we take out the Hydro Gunner and then the Agent, and then take another 3 minutes for this annoying ass hammer guy. The second half was very stressful though. We were already pretty low, and these guys were just plain annoying. We aimed the Pyro Gunner first while taking down the Anemo Boxer, and once both of them were gone, it was a high cortisol fight against the Geomancer, but we did manage to take him down in the end. Okay, I don't know what happened here, like the arrow just disappeared. That has never happened before. What? This guy literally just became a ghost for a frame. Anyways, it is now time for war, and for some reason, we can somehow vortex the friendly NPCs. There's really not too much to say about this section this time because it kinda just went as you'd expect. We've already seen the Abyssal Pylon, and it's kinda the same thing for multiple fights. Basically, every enemy we didn't really have much trouble with. It was a lot easier to dodge attacks because we're ranged, and our crowd control just helps a lot. We cheese this guy too because it doesn't even recognize us as a targetable enemy up here, and then fight this pylon with literally 6 health. I'm actually surprised that Mawika hit the target this time. But there you have it, Natlan, and therefore the entire run complete in 40 hours, 40 minutes and 55 seconds. So, how does she fare against the rest of the runs? It is a bit disheartening to see, especially since I had so much fun on her, but Faruzan is sitting at second to last, just 37 minutes behind Nefer. Okay, at least she's not as bad as Yansan. But even with this time, how does she hold up in the ratings? Let's go ahead and give her some scores. For combat, I'm giving her a 4. She is a bow character, so there's already so many positives here. She can choose to play in melee or from far, depending on the opponent, and she can even hit weak spots to do even more damage or even stagger or stun enemies. Her being Animo is such a big plus. She can swirl enemies and react with most other elements. Her skill is nothing special, but her enhanced charge attacks that come right after provide additional damage, charges faster so it's easier to maneuver around enemies, and also pulls enemies inwards. It's such a great skill to have, especially in a solo run. It provides so much utility and also feels great to use overall. Her burst does pretty decent damage, lowers animo resistance, and also gives an animo damage bonus. Unfortunately, there's just 2 reasons why I can't give her a 5. Her numbers just aren't as big as some of the main on-field characters, and she basically has no sustain. Either one of the 2 would have given her an easy 5, but I'm really on the fence here. Considering I gave Beidou, Columbina, and even Chongyun a 4, I reckon it's only fair that Faruzan also gets the same. For farming, I'm giving her a 3. Her materials are just a pain to farm. They're so spread out, and some of them are just locked behind puzzles that we are unable to complete. But her boss is okay, I guess. We can't trigger Catalyze, so it's invisible and has increased res most of the time, but its moves aren't that bad. It just takes a very long time to beat. It even has a weak spot, so it's not like we're all that useless against it. We did get free boss drops from the 5-star selector, so that's a bit of a bonus. For exploration, she gets a 2. Don't think I need to say too much here. She's the medium female model, so her movement is kinda limited. She takes quite a while to break rocks, but bows are useful for some overworld puzzles. There's a fair set of positives and negatives, but overall there's nothing that special, so a 2 it is. And finally, for enjoyment. I'm pretty sure I've said this a few times already, but I had so much fun with this challenge. It's obviously a 5. Even though she's not an on-field character, her abilities are just very pleasant to use. They're really satisfying, and just aiming headshots is really fun. Like, I mean, you could say the same thing for a lot of bow characters, but the fast charge and vortex shot just felt so smooth to use. Genuinely surprised at how much I love this run because I don't even use Faruzan on my main. I have no animo DPS characters and didn't even know what she did before recording the challenge. I already liked Faruzan as a character, but this challenge made me love her so much more. Thank you, Madame Faruzan. So in total, she gets a 14 out of 20. She's sitting pretty close to the middle there, but in the end was a bit weak. Her enjoyment score just wasn't enough to push her to that comfortable 15 mark, but overall, I still think this was a great score for the time she got. So, what comes next? I still have Llama on her vacation in Sumeru since like 5 months ago, and Emily is also busy smelling the roses. However, the next character challenge I'm going to be doing is actually neither of the 2. It's going to be Dahlia. I'm also thinking about doing a Tomodachi live series when that comes out in April, but let me know what you all think about that. I'll at least probably put out 1 video, and if that does well, then I'll continue it. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all for watching to the end. I hope you caught all the Miku references along the way, and if you do want to see more challenges, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.